What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the Zay Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Isaiah, and today, y'all, we have another 2024 WNBA scouting report, and we have UConn forward Aaliyah Edwards, one of the best forwards in this entire draft class. So without further ado, let's get into it. So Aaliyah Edwards, forward, 6'3", her 2023 stats, 17.6 points per game, 9.2 rebounds per game, 1.7 steals per game, 1 block a game, and she shot 59.3% from the floor. So let's get into her strengths, y'all. I think her first strength is her defensive versatility. You're talking about a girl that's 6'3", has a 6'5" wingspan, so she's very tall, very long, and y'all, she is really, really quick on her feet. Y'all remember in that Final Four game against Iowa, where Coach Gino had asked her to guard Caitlin Clark, and she did a really, really, really solid job on Caitlin Clark. Well, that's because, y'all, again, as I just mentioned, her height, her wingspan, her foot quickness, and also Aaliyah Edwards is really great at playing defense without fouling, defending without fouling. And, y'all, you have to be able to do that because in nowadays game, right, the game is catered to the offense. And so a lot of times the offense always gets fouls called for them. So you have to be able to play defense without fouling, and she's able to do this. We already knew Leah Edwards could guard power forwards and centers. But, y'all, this season especially, we really saw her defensive versatility and her being able to guard point guards and shooting guards. And particularly, y'all, her being able to guard Caitlin Clark and actually do a really solid job on her. You with her next strength, y'all, she's a solid passer out of the post. Now, I know Aaliyah Edwards only averaged 2.1 assists per game this past season, but do not get fooled by the numbers, y'all, because when you actually look at her, Aaliyah Edwards is really good at identifying when her teammate is open and be able to get the ball there on time and on target, and it is so important, right? Not just passing out of the post because you have to do it, but no, being intentional about your passing, being able to actually get it to your teammate, being able to throw an accurate pass, and she does a really solid job at this. I think this is something that is really going to give her advantage over some other forwards in this draft class, being able to be a solid passer. Y'all, I think her passing extends beyond just being able to pass out of the post. I think particularly in the WNBA, she is going to be able to initiate some offense sometimes. Now, she's not going to be a Alyssa Pearly, and I think Alyssa Pearly could actually bring the ball up and all that good stuff. But I don't see Aaliyah Edwards doing that. But I do see her being able to initiate offense some of the times because she is a good passer. And again, this is something that gives her advantage over a lot of forwards in this draft class. Look at her next strip, y'all. She extended her range to the mid-range. You know, when Aaliyah Edwards first got to UConn, she could not shoot outside of the paint. Like, seriously, she could not shoot outside of the paint at all. But you look at the last 2 years, right? Her junior and senior seasons, y'all. It has become a really solid mid-range shooter. She's able to hit from 15, 20 feet. And this is great because you look, Aaliyah Edwards in the WA, she is going to be a forward, right? She's not going to be a center. There are times at UConn when she plays center. Well, she's not going to be a center in the WA. She is going to be a forward. And if you're a smaller power forward, especially nowadays, y'all, you have to be able to shoot the ball, right? You cannot just be a paint player. You have to be able to shoot it from the mid-range, shoot it from three, especially if you can shoot it from the corner, right? You don't have to be a Caitlin Clark when it comes to deep range shooting, but if you can shoot it from the corner, teams are going to love that because the game is just wide open right now. And you don't want a player that's just clogging up the lane. So the fact that Aaliyah Edwards has extended her range to the mid-range definitely helps her, and it kind of raises her ceiling than it did, 2 or 3 years ago when she couldn't really shoot from the mid-range. You heard next year, y'all, she's an elite rebounder. This past season, she averaged 9.2 rebounds per game, but it goes beyond the numbers. Some players, y'all, they get a lot of rebounds, but it's because the rebounds kind of come to them. Where with Aaliyah Edwards, she goes after the ball. She chases after it. She's very relentless. That's my biggest thing with her. She is very, very, very relentless when it comes to crashing the glass. You got her last 2 seasons at UConn, she averaged 9 rebounds her junior year, and then, like I said, 9.2 rebounds this season. She also had, y'all, 89 offensive rebounds this season. That's over 2 offensive rebounds a game. So she is just a great rebounder. You look at her next strength, y'all. She's a great finisher around the rim. She rarely missed layups. I told y'all to start this video off, she shot 59.3% from the floor. And That's elite, okay? And I know some people think that centers, all of them have high field goal percentage, but y'all, some of them do not. But Aaliyah Edwards does because she just has good touch around the rim. And I think this is a strength. I don't think it's just a given that a center can make layups. No, Aaliyah Edwards can make layups with her left and right hand. That's what's important, y'all. She can make layups with her left and right hand, not just her right hand, but with her left hand as well. And she's able to make difficult layups, which is something you have to be able to do in the WNBA because there are a lot of good defenders. There's a lot of good post defenders in our league, and you have to be able to finish over them. And she's able to do that at a really high level. And you look at her last strength, y'all, it's her personality, right? She has a laid-back personality, can get along with anyone. This is a girl that, y'all, when she was at UConn, when she was at UConn, Coach Gino, he just went on and on and on and on and on about Aaliyah Edwards, the person, not Aaliyah Edwards, the player, because we know what she is as a player, but he kept singing her praises, y'all, about who she was as a person. And I think this speaks volumes to her. Aaliyah Edwards is only 21 years old. She's super young, y'all, but I think she is wise beyond her years. She is a girl that's been a leader for UConn. She is not very loud when she speaks. Okay, she's soft spoken, even in her press conference, y'all. Sometimes you can barely hear what Aaliyah Edwards is saying, but she is somebody that can get along with anyone, and that's super important because you're gonna have different personalities in the locker room, and you have to be able to get along with everybody. You gotta be able to get along with your coaches, get along with your teammates, and get along with your bosses. You know, like your GM and your owner. You have to be able to get along with them because if you cannot get along with them, they will find somebody that can get along with them, right? Y'all, when you're a player, right? Basketball, football, soccer, tennis, whatever it is. It's not just about your ability as a player, but it's also how you are as a person, right? How you treat people. Aaliyah Edwards, she is going to be a young woman, y'all, that's going to do a lot of work. Whatever team she goes to, she's going to do a lot of work in the community. She's going to do a lot of work for kids. She is going to show them how you can do things the right way because that's just the kind of young woman that she is, y'all. And this is maybe my favorite thing about Aaliyah Edwards is her personality. Again, laid back, just super chill, super quiet, but she knows how to lead. She is the kind of woman, y'all, that you want to lead your organization seriously because even though she isn't the loudest person, man, she just knows how to bring people together, and this is something that I absolutely love about her. You look at her next, y'all, let's get into her weaknesses now. So her first weakness, I don't think she really has many, but her first weakness is that she is not a three-point threat at this point. You know, right now, Aaliyah Edwards, I talked about she extended her range to the mid-range, and she has, but she has not been able to extend her range to the three-point line yet. This is something that she needs to do. And even if it's just shooting corner threes or shooting from the wing, that's still a plus, right? And if Aaliyah Edwards can become like a 34, 35, 36% three-point shooter, that's good enough. She doesn't have to be a 37, 38, 39% three-point shooter, right? Just be above average and make defenses have to guard you from the three-point line. Because right now, defenses, they don't care if she's on the three-point line, right? Because she's not a threat. But once she shows that she can shoot threes at a decent clip, teams going to have to respect her. And that's just going to add another layer to her game and make her even more dangerous. And she's already a pretty dangerous player. But y'all, when she's able to add that three-pointer to her game, Aaliyah Edwards is going to be basically unstoppable. When you look at her last weakness, y'all, like I said, she really doesn't have any weakness. It's turnovers, and I put a question mark at the end of that because I don't think this is a big deal. I think it's because she had to do a lot of UConn. But I will say this, for her career, she averaged 2.4 turnovers per game. You look at her junior year, y'all, she averaged 3 turnovers per game. And then her senior season, this past season, she averaged 2.5 turnovers per game. So is that a lot of turnovers for a center? Yes. Or for a power forward? Yes. But she was asked to do a lot at UConn because we know the last couple of years, y'all, UConn has just had so many injuries. And so because of that, Aaliyah Edwards has probably had the ball in her hands a little bit more than what she would have had in her hands if they actually had like AZ Fudd there, right? If KK Arnold was there. And I know KK Arnold did play a decent amount this year, but she also dealt with injuries. Like if they were a more healthy team, I'm pretty sure Aaliyah Edwards would have only averaged like 1.5 turnovers per game. So I don't think this is a big weakness. I think it is something to just be cautious of because, yes, she did average 2.4 turnovers per game in her collegiate career. But I don't think it's because she was like throwing horrible passes or it was dumb turnovers. I think, again, it was just she had the ball in her hands too much. And maybe sometimes she was just pressing a little bit too much. But I don't think this is a major weakness for GMs to really be concerning themselves with. So, y'all, let's get into her pro comparison, her prospect grade. Then I give the conclusion. I'll be up out of y'all's way. So, my pro comparison for Aaliyah Edwards is Rebecca Brunson. Shout out Rebecca Brunson, y'all. Y'all remember her, Minnesota Lynx legend. And when you look at Rebecca Brunson, you know, she had a very, very, very interesting career because when she got drafted back in 2004 out of Georgetown, she was a scorer, right? Like you talk about at Georgetown, y'all, she averaged 16 and a half points per game for her career. Well, when she was in the WNBA, she only averaged 9.2 points per game. But that's because, y'all, when she came into the league, she was on the team, and it's no longer a team now; it's defunct. But she was playing for a team, and it named the Sacramento Monarchs, and right, they had Ruthie Bolden and like Yolanda Griffith, so they didn't really need Rebecca Brunson to score a lot. And then when she got to the Lynx, right, they had Maya Moore and they had Lindsay Whalen and they had Simone Augusta. So again, and then they ended up trading back in 2015 for Sylvia Fowles. So they didn't need Rebecca Brunson to score. But what she was great at, obviously, she was an amazing rebounder, the most rebounds in Minnesota Lynx history. She could hit the mid-range jump shots. Man, her jump shot was so nice. And she was a versatile defender. Well, that's what Aaliyah Edwards is, a versatile defender, can shoot mid-range shots, and is a really good rebounder and brings great energy. Y'all, very similar to one another. And I think, like Rebecca Brunson, y'all, I think Aaliyah Edwards is going to be able to adapt no matter what team ends up drafting her. Say if the Dallas Wings draft her, well, obviously she's not going to score as much because the Wings already have a loaded roster with Satu Sabu, Natasha Howard, and Enrique Gumawale. But say the Washington Mystics draft her, and they no longer have Tasha Cloud and Elena Deladon, and really your only threats on that team right now is Ariel Atkins and Shakira Austin. Well, Aaliyah Edwards might average about 17, 18, 19 points per game. But she's able to adapt the way Rebecca Brunson was, right? When Rebecca Brunson came into the league, she was seen as a scorer, but she was able to adapt and change her game, all to make sure her team was able to win games. I think Aaliyah Edwards will be able to follow suit, y'all. Look at her prospect grade. I gave her a grade of 93, meaning she's a great player. She'll be an all-star / all WNBA player. And I just think, y'all, with her skill set, with her personality, Aaliyah Edwards, I mean, this is going to be a young woman that I believe has a 15, maybe even 20-year career in the WNBA, is a multiple-time all-star, y'all. And I just think she's going to be a really, really great player. So in conclusion, Edwards is a new age forward with her defensive versatility, rebounding, and athleticism being coveted in today's game. As she continues to improve her range, it will only make her that much more of a dangerous player. She is a player any team would want to have because of her game and personality. And y'all, that last line, she is a player any team would want to have because of her game and personality. And like I said a few minutes ago, with Aaliyah Edwards, it is more than just Aaliyah Edwards the player. It's Aaliyah Edwards the woman. And I really think, y'all, that GMs are going to love that when they see she is an A+ player and an A+ person. And you got to have those kind of people in your organization, right? If you're trying to build a winning organization, you got to have A+ players, obviously, great players, but you got to have A+ people, y'all, great people. That is very important. You want people that know how to represent your organization in a classy manner, people that can give back to their community, right? Do charity events. Y'all, that stuff matters. And I think Aaliyah Edwards is going to be that kind of player and woman. She is going to have an amazing career. And I cannot wait to see what team ends up drafting her. So there you have it, y'all. That was my 2024 WNBA scouting report on UConn forward, Aaliyah Edwards. Y'all know I'm an indie man. I love y'all. God bless. Peace.